Hey guys, Asal here, and today we're going to be doing an overview of the Commander mode in Battlefield 4. Now, I did do a video of this previously, but that was before the game was actually released, and though I did go over what everything does, a lot has changed and a lot of things have been added, and of course, we can actually see the graphical interface as to what the Commander does. So, essentially, I'm just going to go over everything that you can do, and finally, how to be a more effective Commander. Now, if you direct your attention to the top left side of the screen, you can see all of the Commander's abilities. Now, the first four, the Scan UAV, the Emp Uav, the Evac Order, and the Proxy Attack, are abilities that are always available to the Commander, regardless of how your team is doing. The only restriction on those is that they are on a cooldown. Now, the bottom three, the Gunship, Vehicle Scan, and Infantry Scan, those are abilities that are objective specific. You can see the Gunship, you need to control B, the Vehicle Scan is C, and the Infantry Scan is D. Now there is one more, and that is the Cruise Missile, which is essentially a missile that just comes in and blasts away your enemies, but that is not available on this map, so those objective specific abilities do switch around depending on the map. Now, if you take a look just below the top left, you have this little green bar. This is basically some additional abilities that the Commander can earn, so to speak. Now, every time you do something, well, not every time you do something, but a lot of things you do as a Commander, you earn points. And when you get points, that little green bar fills up. You see I just got a Gunship Kill Assist, and it went up a little bit. And basically, when that bar gets to each of those four little icons, those are additional abilities that you can use. And when you use them, the bar goes back down like you're using your energy, so to speak. That's one way to look at it. Now, moving on to the right side of the screen, we have A through J. Now, what this means that we have A through J squads on our team right now, and it basically tells us each class of each player in each squad, if they're alive, if they're in a vehicle, and also when you click on each squad, it will highlight all of the squad members on the map, and it will also show lines to where their squad leader has ordered them to, and where you have ordered them to go if you have done such a thing. Also, if you want to talk to a squad, you just click on it, hold Alt, and talk. Now, you can talk to the entire squad, but actually only the squad leader can talk back to you. And I think the biggest reason for only being able to hear these squad leaders, just because otherwise it would be a lot of information potentially coming at you at once, because when you're playing on your squad screen on the bottom left, if you are just a normal player, you can see the Commander's name, and when his name turns green, it means that he can hear you if you talk to him. So if everyone in the squad was wanting to talk to the Commander at once, as soon as it turned green, they would all light up the comms. So basically it just avoids confusion and just keep things more streamlined. Now let's talk about the actual abilities themselves. So first we have the Scan UAV, and I have it deployed right now above C, if you can see that little ship flying around C point. So basically you left click somewhere on the map, and then you right click, and that will open up your menu of different abilities. Then you click the UAV ship, and then it will deploy and it will fly around. Now what this really does is it alerts you, the Commander, of where enemies are, but more importantly it alerts everyone in the game as to, basically it gives them UAV complete vision of everybody in that area on their minimap. And this is extremely useful, especially if you're assaulting a point and you don't know where they are. This is a really, really useful thing for your team to have. Now next we have the Emp Uav, and in a lot of ways this is basically the opposite of a UAV. You deploy it the same way, and basically what it does is it blacks out an area in two ways. Now what it does, if the enemy commander has placed a UAV, what you can do is you can place an Emp Uav in the exact same spot, and it will basically cancel out his UAV, making it ineffective given that you block out the whole thing, because it makes a circle the same size of the UAV. So if you can get it right in the middle, it'll basically make that UAV completely ineffective. Now the flip side to this ability is that when you use it, it will make your enemy blind to your team, essentially. So basically, even if they don't have a UAV, when your team fires, they still show up on the enemy radar. But if they are EMP'd, they will no longer show up. So the enemy team is truly blind. So this is really good if you're wanting to coordinate some sort of flank, if you've got a really organized team and you want to throw down an EMP, and they won't be able to see you come in when you start firing your bullets. Now the Evac Order is something that basically tells your team to get the hell out of somewhere, wherever that may be. You do it the same way, you left click, then right click, and Evac Order. Now the only time this is really very useful, I suppose you could use it to coordinate your team's efforts, but essentially the main purpose of this, I find, is when the enemy commander drops a cruise missile, you can see where it is coming in, and then you can evac the area, because a cruise missile does take a good 10-15 seconds to come in. Now next is the proxy attack. Now this is pretty useless if the enemy team does not have a commander. In this clip here, the enemy team doesn't actually have a commander, so I think I do use it just for the sake of using it, but basically what it does is it makes it so that the enemy commander cannot do anything for a full 15 seconds. So a really good way to use this: throw down a cruise missile, throw a proxy attack on the enemy commander, and they won't be able to evac the area, alerting their team of where that cruise missile is going to hit. So the cruise missile and the proxy attack work very well and go hand in hand. Now moving on to the objective specific abilities, first we have the gunship, or in other words the AC-130. Now this thing is basically a big plane that flies in a very slow arc around the map, and you can redirect it and make it fly around different areas of the map, but essentially it holds up to 3 of your teammates, and they each have their own gun. They're all different, they all do different things, but basically they can just rain down from the sky and take out enemies from afar. And this is kind of nice to get points, because you get points basically whenever anybody in the gunship gets a kill. Though the gunship is not as easy to use as you might think. It's actually a little tricky to get used to, but when you know what you're doing, this thing can be it can be pretty useful. Now next up we have the Infantry Scan and the Vehicle Scan. Now basically what these do is they're a slow scanner sweep that go across the entire map, alerting the commander and only the commander of enemy vehicles and infantry, depending on which scan you use. Now basically what these are really useful for is if you have no idea where the enemy team is or where their vehicles are, you can throw down one of these bad boys and it'll just give you kind of a bearing as to where the enemy team is, and then you can act accordingly by commanding your own team to go to areas where maybe the enemy presence is not as heavy, or if you just want to do whatever, if you want to do some crazy thing and just have a huge on battle, you can coordinate efforts. But one thing about being a commander is you can coordinate efforts as much as you want to, really, but you're only as good as your team. I mean, like, you can tell them to do all the right things, but if they don't listen to you, it's not really going to be that useful. I mean, sure, you'll get some points and they might not listen to you, but what can you do? Not everyone is a team player, although it's unfortunate. I wish there were more, but essentially that is the sad truth of being the commander. And finally, for abilities, we have the ones that you unlock by earning points. Now the first one is squad promotion. Now basically what this does, you can give it to a squad if they've done a good job or something like that. You can give it to a squad and it will promote them, and what this does is it basically just ups their squad perk to 1 level. So that's nice for your squad, a nice little reward. So that's nice and simple. Now the next one is the supply drop. Now the supply drop is basically a crate that drops down, and it allows players to change their loadout without dying, or replenish ammo or whatever they need to do. I don't really find it incredibly useful. It's just kind of there. I don't think I've ever actually really used it effectively as a player, but that is there. Now next we have rapid deployment. Now rapid deployment might be one of my favorites. Basically what it does is it removes the countdown to spawn in. So say a squad is defending an objective and there's heavy enemy presence and they keep dying. If they have rapid deploy, they can keep spawning in very quickly in order to keep that objective safe. So that's a really good one, and I really enjoy that. And finally, there's a vehicle drop. Pretty straightforward. You drop a vehicle for the desired squad leader of your choice. And last, but certainly not least, we have the ability to order a squad to attack an objective. Now if you want to do this, say you want Alpha Squad to attack Bravo. So you click on Alpha Squad, then you right click on Bravo and you select Order Squad, and that will show up in all of the squad members of Alpha's user interface, and it will basically give them the option to attack that, and their squad leader can either accept or deny, and you get points as a commander if they accept that order. Now, as I said earlier, you can kind of hope that they'll follow these orders, but a lot of the time they don't, and it is kind of frustrating. Though, in order to kind of reinforce those orders, you can actually hold Alt and be like, Alpha Squad, this is Commander, can I reach you on this line, or something similar to kind of break the ice. And I've found when I've had commanders that really interact with me as a squad leader and kind of tell me where to go, I've had a lot more fun. So if you want to have fun as a commander, talk to the squad leaders. It's actually quite a good way to have a lot more fun than just kind of sitting here and mindlessly clicking on objectives, because let's be real here, being a commander can be kind of dull otherwise. So that is pretty much commander mode in a nutshell. Now I hope I do hope I have covered everything. If there are any remaining questions you may have, leave a comment. I will respond to those. I love responding to those comments, guys. Now, if you've liked this video, you can like it, and likewise, if you've disliked it, you can also dislike it. So guys, I thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more Battlefield content, tips, tricks, videos, anything of the like, you can subscribe to my channel. That is the place to be. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.